Social media etiquette is extremely relevant today, and I keep seeing so many etiquette mistakes happening in the online world. I do want to raise a few pointers in this video, and in the end of this video, we are going to discuss a very important topic that I really need your opinion on, so make sure you stay until the end. My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a bit of a different concept. I want to talk to you about social media etiquette while I'm doing my makeup. So it will be a little bit slash kind of get ready with me type of video. I hope you don't mind. As always, you have to share with me your opinions whenever I change format. Do you like it or do you not? Like this, I will really know what kind of videos to create for you. And in order not to interrupt the conversation that I will be having with you about social media etiquette, I won't be introducing each product that I'm using. I will only share the picture on the screen so that you know exactly what I used and for what. And quick disclaimer, ladies, so you know this video is not sponsored by any form of brand. The brands that I am presenting, I am using them on a daily basis myself. The only thing is that I do use affiliate links in my links in the description box. So if you're clicking on them, I will receive a small commission on the sale. But again, it won't affect your cost whatsoever, just to be 100% transparent with you. Okay, so let's start with the topic of today. I want to actually jump straight into one of my biggest pain points. And actually, number one, it's not really a point that I have perfected whatsoever. I would say I'm pretty bad at this one. And it's another discussion I actually would love to have with you in the comment section below, because it's one of those things that it is so new, and how are we going to respond to this? Ladies, I'm talking about WhatsApp and WhatsApp conversations and red messages and blue ticks, and when is it appropriate to respond and how long is the maximum response time. This is the thing with social media etiquette, is because social media is so new, there aren't really any fully developed etiquette practices. I think when we speak about kind of social media etiquette, we have to also speak from a kind of common sense point of view. And this is why it's so interesting to have this discussion, to also see how is it for you and kind of tap into different communities. How do people behave? My issue, ladies, is that I don't really check my WhatsApp very often. I really don't, and that's because I'm extremely busy, and I'm not kind of saying it in a bragful kind of, oh, I'm too busy to stay in touch with people, but at the moment I'm going through a phase where my world has become a little bit upside down in terms of I have a totally new lifestyle that I'm adapting myself to. It's a bit similar to when people get children. All of a sudden, things are not the way they used to be before, so for that reason, you know, a lot of mothers or fathers, when they have a newborn child, they might go MIA, and it's pretty understandable. I have a bit of a kind of similar issue because I run a business that is actually quite demanding. It's a big challenge. So I really have to prioritize every single choice that I make in a day. And that really includes WhatsApp conversations. I do not afford at the moment to have like random conversations on WhatsApp, like just checking in with people and, you know, talk a little bit of casual chit chat. I used to have this time in the past, and it's something that I really think is important to do, as it nurtures the relationship and friendship you have with people. But for me, like, it's a sacrifice right now. I cannot afford spending much time on WhatsApp, so I actually end up not checking it quite often. The only time I check it is if it's something really urgent. I end up having WhatsApp conversations that can be even up to 1 month old that are unread, and they just all pile up in a library that I'm not able to get through. And you know, of course, there are moments where I should be able to get through them, but because all of them pile up, it really becomes a big project to go through them. So I have this really complicated relationship with my WhatsApp, and I haven't really found a solution to it. And what I truly would wish for, ladies, is if WhatsApp could have a feature where you can actually disconnect your WhatsApp for when you need it. Because like this, if I know that for a few days I won't be able to check my WhatsApp, if let's say I can only check it once a week, at least I can disconnect it during this time and only connect it when I really know I can go through the missed messages that I have, and I can actually dedicate time to respond. And in between, I will simply just have to stay offline, but at least people would understand when they will see the one tick why it's not going through. Like, I'm probably very busy, I have switched off, and so and so. I mean, you do have the kind of blue tick and gray tick feature, but the thing with that one is people still understand that you are on your phone. So, they still kind of take it in a way like you are rejecting them or something. And that's not really the case, right? I mean, am I the only one who has this issue? Or I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I personally have disabled my blue tick feature because that one is just a nightmare. I mean, if you by accident read a message that ends up giving a blue tick to the sender and you haven't responded, then that's very bad social media etiquette, definitely, because the person has seen and is starting to wonder now, why is she not responding? But anyway, going back to when should we respond? I definitely think that it's the same day type of response that is, appropriate etiquette, but I'm actually noticing that more and more people are starting to bend those rules, so maybe let's say 48 hours, but again, this is really personalized opinion type of etiquette question, because again, some of you will probably say, well, it's really rude if you don't respond within an hour. I have personally set my boundary very clear with everybody that I know, is that there is no way I will respond fast because I'm simply not that type of person, and take it or leave it type of thing. I've had actually friendships in the past where people really got mad at me because I was a slow responder, and it did actually affect their friendship, so things did not really work out. But again, it's so individual of each and everybody, so I don't know. I would really like to hear from you in the comments below what you think about this kind of WhatsApp dilemma. Also take the one into account where the person has seen that you have read the message and you are online, let's say for hours and hours afterwards, and you're not responding. That is definitely bad social media etiquette. I personally think that once you have showed the person that you have read the message, you must respond immediately, because the person will start wondering. But then again, if you are like me, who has the blue tick disabled, then truly I think it's 24 hours, really, maybe 14 hours. But again, I break this etiquette thing all the time, and it's really bad, but just being honest with you. So let's talk about oversharing on social media, because I know that this is a big pet peeve of many people. And when I say oversharing on social media, I actually mean when you are really being a bit too much, sharing too many intimate details about your life, yourself. Maybe you're sharing a lot of private things that makes people feel a bit awkward and wonder, okay, was this really meant to be shared? Or if you're sharing things under the influence of alcohol and you kind of embarrass yourself. Other annoyances I know people have is when you are just simply sharing very strong content, very explicit content. A lot of people want to share propaganda, which is a bit of a dilemma, because we understand that, sharing awareness about, let's say, animal cruelty or child abuse, it is very important and relevant topics today. But it's also not easy to be fed that 24/7 by people, all the time. You really have to take into account. I think maybe sharing once in a blue moon maybe is okay. I think sharing limited of those things are definitely okay, because we do need to spread awareness, and it's for important reasons. But I think when it starts going to a degree where people cannot log in their accounts because their feed is just, misery, then you really have to take into account, am I showing these people consideration? Am I actually taking their feelings into account? And this is kind of where we have to strike a good balance. But then we have those kind of oversharing situations where people are just posting too often, where they post content where it's so obvious that it's just for self-validation. And I know this can be quite annoying for a lot of people, because I keep hearing these complaints all the time about certain people. But this is kind of where I really try and defend the other person, because let's put it this way. The reason why somebody is seeking attention on social media is really not because they're bad people. Something is maybe not 100% right in their inner self. They might have strong validation issues, strong insecurities, and that's psychological. And do we really want to be all the time mad at people who might not be 100% perfect? Think about it. Majority of us, we do have some form of psychological damages, issues, problems, whatever. Why do we have to be so hard on each other when can we just forgive each other for, okay, that person has some excess validation issues, It's okay, I understand. Hopefully that will change one day. Nobody's there trying to be malicious, although of course it can become an annoyance. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes just try and be a little bit forgiving for people, especially when kind of psychological things are involved. It's a tough world we live in, okay? We all are damaged in one way or another, so be kind and forgive each other. So let's go to number 3, and this is definitely one that I can talk a lot about, but I still think that a lot of you also have this issue, and that is when people are giving their opinion when you have not asked for it. And okay, I need to clarify one thing. One thing is if we have a discussion about things. It's obvious you have made a piece of content about something that requires maybe attention or a form of discussion. There are posts like that. But another thing is if, for instance, I put myself out there and all of a sudden in my inbox or under the comment section, there are people saying like, oh, actually, I don't think this hair color suits on you. You should do this instead. Or that top wasn't nice on you. You should wear something else. Or whatever, like these type of things that can be hurtful when you're criticizing somebody. I get this all the time, and it's also a bit strange. It's like people think that just because you're an influencer, you can just go all in on influencers and share your opinion left, right, and center, like their feelings don't matter, or maybe they don't have feelings. Maybe that's what people think. I don't know, but I just find it a little bit strange. I get so many comments and inbox messages where people are really giving their opinion about, let's say, my appearance or my choices in life or what it is that I do without me even asking for it. Now that is really, really bad manners, because if I ask you, which I do sometimes, then it's absolutely fine for you to write to me and express your opinion because I have actually asked for it. And I do that from time to time because sometimes I think it's really interesting to hear from my audience and what they think. But if I haven't asked, elegant ladies don't express themselves, so make sure you think about that. Now, since we're kind of talking about, expressing yourself, influences and all that, one of the things that I've noticed, but these people, they exist everywhere, not only with influencers, so I'm sure you also kind of recognize yourself in this one. I call them the typo police, and I don't know what they get out of it, but I remember even before my time as an influencer, I used to come across these people who would literally spend a lot of their energy just complain about people who misspell, use the wrong form or the wrong grammar or not pronounce things properly. And it's just so strange to me how people can really go into the nitty-gritty and be so obsessed about something that actually doesn't really matter that much. Why do you feel so hurt by it? Is my question. As an example, I'm not a native English speaker, but guess how many typo polices I get on my videos, on my content. It can be for anything, for whenever I say something wrong, if I use the wrong grammar, if, for instance, I don't pronounce it in a correct way. Everybody's always there to correct you. I don't know, you know what I think it is? I think people have this validation of themselves that they can express, like, okay, she messed up, I am here to correct her, here I am here to dominate her, I feel good by it. I don't know, I think that's pretty strange and also not very elegant in my opinion. And I also think it's a bit low. I think really it's a lack of style. It's really a lack of style. I mean, I think it really says more about a person who has to correct somebody for such things rather than the person who actually did the error from the beginning. But of course, I definitely think it's very neglectful if you are speaking with grammar issues in your own native language and you're using typos all the time in your own native language, then definitely there is something that has to be looked into to why the person does that. Is it because of lack of education? Is it being lazy or being neglectful? What is it? So that is something that I think definitely has to be looked over. But if you're not a native speaker, you have to understand as well that typos happen for everybody these days, regardless if you speak with perfect grammar or you're a native speaker or not. But we live in a digital world where we are a lot on our phones, and on our phones it's very easy to type wrong. And I just think that the typo polices should chill a little bit and just have a little bit of understanding for people who are probably on the go when they are writing things. It's a bad thing and it's a good thing. We're all live in a very fast world, and the bad thing is, I guess, people are so much in a rush, but this happens to all of us. So if you are a type of police, ladies, have a little think about that. it's not necessarily a positive thing. And if you feel better by it, then maybe you can find another way to validate your own self-value then, being a little type of police. Okay, let's jump to a juicy one. Posting ugly pictures of your friends. And this is a big one because a lot of people have these issues in their friendships. And it can be quite hurtful having a really horrible picture of you put online. And the worst is, and it's so funny, every time I see this happen, you know, sometimes I might not even be in the picture, but I can like scroll in my feed and I see, oh, okay, now the person who posted it looks fabulous in that picture, really, really good shot of that person. And then you look at their friends, or if it's just one friend, and they look horrible. It's a really bad picture. And then I always say to myself, that person is probably pretty mad at their friend right now, and I can understand. I think it's a matter of respect, and it's not only about you all the time, right? Take other people into account, other people's emotions, and also think about it. Some people are very insecure. You don't want to put a horrible picture of them online for loads of people to see while having these insecurities. So I just think it's, you know, it's not nice. Another common thing is that, of course, a lot of people, or let's put it this way, majority of people today, they Photoshop their images, right? Or face-tune their images. And I think it's a bit rude of face-tuning only yourself, but not do anything to the rest of the people in the picture. And okay, I need to just like explain here what I mean exactly, because you can definitely Photoshop your appearance to the point where people actually don't notice you have done anything. Let's say it's just something very tiny like removing a pimple, so you don't have to do it on everybody removing something, right? But if you are starting to kind of go on many features like improving your skin texture, making yourself look thinner, taller, I don't know, removing things from your appearance that you don't like, or making things smaller, bigger, and so on, but then you do nothing to your friends. And then you can clearly see that you look like a cartoon character almost, but your friends look very plain. Now, I don't support that you Photoshop yourself to the degree that you look like a cartoon character. That's not really what I'm trying to say. It was just a very kind of exaggerated example. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you Photoshop yourself to the point where you can see that there has been some form of Photoshop involved, then do something very light on your friends so that you all blend in together, so it all looks kind of united. I don't recommend, however, to change things in their appearance, like for instance make their breast bigger or nose smaller, or I don't know, do things that really dramatically improves the appearance. I am talking more in terms of, you know, do something light, just something tiny bit, just to kind of unify everything. And if somebody has a pimple, then be friendly and just remove it. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Let's move on to number 6, because we need to talk about asking permission first before you post your friends on social media or their homes. A lot of people forget this, and I think it's really poor manners not to ask your friends for permission, because first of all, it doesn't matter how many followers you have on social media, their pictures will be online, their homes will be online on display. Even if it's just a story that will be removed in 24 hours, it doesn't matter. You always need to ask permission before you take any footage of somebody or their homes. Homes especially, because that is extremely personal, and you do not know whether, let's say, they have some famous art in their house that they're very cautious about and don't want to promote because of robbery risk, or for instance their house can be identified in one way or another and they can get burglaries. So you don't want to put that on display. So you need to be really cautious, ladies. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see that there are very few friends that I actually post. And the ones that I post, I have always asked them for permission beforehand, regardless if it's their house or just simply of themselves. One thing I must say though, I oftentimes don't even bother asking somebody about taking pictures in their homes. I simply don't take any social media footage when I'm invited to people's houses. And if I, for some reason, want to take some pictures or a video, then I will always ask. But honestly, I never almost do that. I simply just try and keep their homes private, and there is no need to put all that on social media. So I usually just go MIA when I'm invited to people's house. So I really think you should follow this practice. This is really a non-negotiable. This is really important, and especially if you are dealing with affluent people, with high-profile people, you really have to respect their privacy, and you will look like a true elegant lady. Now we have reached the last one, and I actually want to have your opinion on this one. Because this one I'm not going to say, this is the etiquette, this is the rule, this is what you should do. Because the times are changing fast and our environment has changed in recent years and social media is a big influence in this. I'm talking about posting social media content, let's say doing an Instagram story in a public place where there's people involved. Is this appropriate or is this not appropriate? Let's have a discussion in the comment section below, and I am going to give you my 2 cents. Obviously, I am a little bit biased because I am an influencer, but I really try to look at it objectively. Back in the days, before social media time, everybody had to have a filming permission if they were going to film something, and usually we're talking about putting on TV channels and so on. But these days, people have big social media accounts, as big as a TV channel had in the past in terms of viewership. But today, we don't have any set rules in terms of can you post publicly on your channel a piece of content that is filmed or shot in a public place where you have, by accident or by nature of how you take footage, included people in your footage who have not given their permission to do so. We live in a social media era where people are now going to walk around with contracts, asking people to sign papers and give their written permission to be part of your 15-second story on Instagram. Let's be honest and realistic here. It's just not the way it would work. But what is appropriate then? Can we upload this type of content, or should we always blur people's faces out, let's say? What do you think? It would be quite interesting for me to know what you think, because I belong to the group of people who think that it really depends of the event type and of the location. There are some form of events where I would definitely not film people at. There are other places and events where I do film for my Instagram story or let's say for my YouTube channel. It's hard to say what is right and what is wrong because of this kind of new lifestyle of ours. And I'm talking about the new social media lifestyle. So let's talk about that in the comment section below. As usual, make sure you follow me on Instagram if you want to see my stories where I include people occasionally. But we'll see how it goes in the next few years. Maybe there will be laws set up upon this. So for now, this is kind of how it is. There are no laws. Internet is not very regulated. So it's going to be interesting to see how things develop in the next 10-20 years, right? Probably a lot of you also know that I do have an online finishing school where I teach women on elegance, and if you want to be part of that, just visit schoolofaffluence.com. I do have more chit-chat videos, like for instance the get to know me video where I do answer a lot of your questions, so make sure to watch that video and I will see you there.